Why hate other people? Why? Hatred is the worst thing that can happen to a people. We are all God's children.
Hi, Inge.
Hello.
So what we'd like to do is to talk to you about your experiences during the war, after the war, reflections. Could you briefly share with us some of the memories of your family and what you were told about your uncle, Josef Leiter, when you were growing up?
Well, we were a very close family. My great-grandmother had 14 children. So they lived a little town further away, and we didn't go there too often, but I heard the stories behind the scene, how nice it was. They went to the synagogue every Shabbos, and they had a very close relationship, very close.
And what was the name of your town where you grew up?
My town was called Kippenheim. Little village of about 6,000 people. I was the last Jewish child born there. They had maybe about 60 Jewish families. I was the youngest. I did not know the children from the 4 brothers who were in the army and so forth. I just heard about them, but I never knew them because I was much too little, and they were gone at that time.
What does that story mean to you now?
It means everything to me. My father was a soldier in World War I too, and he was wounded quite badly in his right shoulder. He had a big hole there, and he had the Iron Cross. So he was, he got his awards. It did help us for a while, but not the whole thing. Well, this time was Kristallnacht. I don't know if you heard of Kristallnacht. I went through that.
Of course.
I was not even 4 years old. And all the men from the age of 16 on, boys and men, were sent to camps. So my father, even if he was a disabled war veteran, he had to go. Only women were not taken at that time. But I remember exactly how it was. They broke all the windows, we had to hide, and all these boys and men were sent to Dachau, in our area. In some others it was other camps. And they were there for quite a while, a few weeks. When he came back, he was very sick. And then he died soon afterwards. And then, of course, later on, my grandmother was taken away too and killed, shot.
And what about any memories or stories about Josef?
Well, Josef was one of the children of my great-grandmother. I knew of him, but I never met him.
The family talk about him and...
Well, of course they talked about the family and that they were in World War I and got killed.
Right,
2 of them, I believe.
And nobody knew where he was buried or anything that had happened?
No,
or
we had no clue.
Of his death.
No, but there was a Jewish cemetery. The grave is still there, I believe, but I never saw it, never. I think the sad part in all of this is we were proud Germans. This was our country. They fought for it.
This June, in a couple of months, we're going to be in France.
Yes.
At the grave of your great...
Wonderful. I wish I could come. I would kill myself to go. I tell you why it means so much. So after Kristallnacht, we moved in with my grandparents, and then the transports began, and she was put into a transport to Riga, Latvia. And of course, my mother didn't want her to go by herself, and we somehow got out of that transport, but not my grandmother, without my grandfather, obviously. And then we had no clue that everybody almost everybody was going to be killed. They shot all of them. And then we knew a lady who was there, and she told us she was not in Rumbala. She was in Bikernieki. And my point was, before I die, I'm going to that place. I promised my mother, and I did. At least, I would say, 30,000 people shot. I couldn't believe it. There was a way to walk up a hill. On the bottom, all these big graves. And this bothers me till today. They had the name Stuttgart, where they came from. And I put a book, one of my books there. I put a cover on it and said, I shall never forget you. I was hysterical. This whole thing bothered me my whole life. I remember I wrote one song. I don't know if you heard of the little children who sang at the United Nations. And I, the Jew, the survivor, wrote the poem. This was the biggie, to go to the United Nations. Wow. And I spoke. I have the speech still. And then the next thing turned out to be the Bundestag of Germany, which is the parliament. The biggest thing in Germany is the parliament in Berlin. And they asked me to speak. And I met people over there, teachers who invited me to a school, a small school. They don't even know what is the Holocaust. One girl said, "Oh, is it a holiday? Is it something we eat?" I mean, unbelievable, unbelievable. You ever hear from Auschwitz? Not enough people know about this story. We need a book for that, universal book. So now, this is one of the best publishers in Germany. It's about 500 pages. A remembrance for today and for tomorrow. My story is a lot in here. So that's the book which I would like to have shown in the film, because it means a lot to us and also for the whole world.
Well, what message would you like to give to them?
Okay, I said that also at the Bundestag, that we are all God's children. Not that I'm so tremendously religious. All blood is red. I mean, these were innocent people who fought for the country, who did everything, you know, and they gave their lives. I think we have to know what it's all about. Why hate other people? Why? They had a sister who gave her life. For what?
How will you feel personally after the event in June when we changed the grave marker for your uncle, Josef Leiter?
Well, I wish I could be there. That would be my greatest wish, to be there and to say Kaddish for them, the prayer for the dead, put a stone on the grave, to cry a few tears. And I like the idea. You have other religions, I mean, there too, and maybe ministers and things. At least show them a little respect. People forget. But now some people came to the idea, we got to do something. And to honor you.
Honor and appreciate.
To honor you, yes. That's very important to me. He is getting the Star of David, an honor. I wore the yellow star, being supposed to be a terrible person. And here we're doing something really good in remembrance and giving him, sort of in a way to live on. The star means so much, to give him honor finally in his grave. My hope, my wish, and prayer is for every child to grow up in peace without hunger and prejudice.